What's up guys? So it comes down to this. It's finally here. The video that you've been waiting for. Why am I sounding so... I'm not being racist, okay. So it comes down to this. It's time to review. Okay, don't bullshit. It's time to review the Sony A7 III. Woo! I wish I have a intro, but not yet. So... there's a lot to go through this camera. I have so much to say about this camera. There's a lot of juicy stuff to talk about this camera. This dang beast. I made a lot of friends with this camera. I made a lot of enemies? Not yet, not enemies yet. So I had this camera for like 3 months now. And damn, I can say it's so much different. It's so much different than what I'm shooting right now. I think this is like the last time that I'll be using this camera for YouTube. Rest in peace, M100. Nah, just joking. My M100 is gonna be my backup camera, and this is gonna be a main camera. I love this camera so much. This is like my baby. So I can't really compare this camera with the one that I'm using because it's so much different. The difference is so much. Because this is a full frame camera, and this one shoots 4K in 30 frames and 1080 with 120 frames. And then that's actually one of the reasons why I buy this camera. Okay, I'm gonna put this down first, okay? So just a shout out, this is not sponsored, and I bought this camera in a local camera store. It's in downtown. It's called Great Wall Cameras, and I haven't been there ever since I got this camera. Pretty good service if you're in Kuching. If you're somehow in Kuching, Sarawak, East Malaysia, then you can go and check it out if you want to. It's in downtown, so just look for Great Wall Camera and yeah, you can find it. And then they sell a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cameras, a lot of lenses, so yeah. So this camera is so popular that it's sold out all around the world. And for me to get this takes around like 2 to 3 months of waiting. I pre-ordered it around June, July, and then they actually told me that this is the only model that arrived in Kuching. And there's like a few people who ordered it, and mine is the only one that's here. So woo, lucky me. So I'm gonna go through the specs of this camera. What is it capable of? Like I mentioned, it shoots 4K, it shoots 1080 with 120 frames per second. And because I'm looking for a camera that can shoot 120 frames, and Canon doesn't really offer that. I'm not sure about the new models right now, and even on the EOS R, it doesn't shoot 1080 to 120 frames, and that causes so much more than the Sony A7 III. And the only one that I know that shoots 1080 to 120 is the 1DX Mark II, if I'm not mistaken. That's premium Canon uses that, and that costs around 20,000 ringgit, and that's like the money that you can use to buy a freaking car. I mean in Malaysia. I didn't look into Nikon or Fujifilm because most of them, they are doing more photos and stuff. And Sony has been making video cameras for a long time, and I started to look into it, and then my friends are using it, and then they suggested me like, why don't you just buy a Sony camera? Like if you really need that 1080 to 120 frames, then you can just look for a Sony camera. And probably A7S II does that, but I'm not sure. Sorry, I didn't do my research well. Forgive me. Anyways, let's continue with the review. So there's a lot of picture profiles in this camera. There's like SL3, there's like Cine 4, and then there's like, and then the color mode, there's like Pro, S Gamma, like a lot of things. So I don't really have that on the M100. It's kind of hard for me to figure out those like picture profiles because I don't know what the hell they are. Oh, and there's one more like HLG and some stuff. There's just a lot of picture profiles to choose from. So picture profiles plays a big role when it comes to shooting videos or shooting pictures. Thus you can also use those picture profiles to shoot photos as well. And then the moment when you're color grading, it's like, it gives you a different feel, it gives you like different colors. So that gives me an advantage for like shooting stuff with like different colors to like color grade in a different way, to have more options when it comes to color grading. And speaking about more options, this camera has a lot of like functions, whereas like I use it for like 3 months and I still can't really fully figure out what are those functions for. You can program some of the functions on the custom keys, like for example focus magnifier or like focus peaking, where you can see like yellow dots on the screen to see like what are the things that you're focusing on. And then you can program like white balance on it, so in a way you can program everything on the button so you don't have to go through the menu. And then the menu is not beginner Sony friendly. A lot of people have roasted on the Sony's menu because it's just so complicated for like beginners, or like for some people who never used a Sony before. They'll be like, nope, I'm not gonna use this camera. Just switch it to auto function, and then yeah, Okay, I think overall what makes me choose this camera, what makes me switch to Sony is just that it has a lot of manual functions. You can just customize everything here, but you can't customize the shutter button and the record button though, and the menu button. So some of things like this ringamajigger thingy, I don't know whether you can see it, this ringamajigger, and then the center button, you can customize that into like ISOs or like maybe like zebra display and stuff. There's just a lot of things. Just depends on which button is more convenient for you to press, or which button do you want to set as that like function. And not just the buttons, the picture profiles and the white balance. The white balance is very typical, but yeah, like everything is fully manual. So one of the downsides for this is not beginner friendly at all. It's not for those rookies who never touched a camera before, and even for those who are amateur at photography or videography, they'll probably get a hard time when it comes to like picking up the camera for the first time. So it takes a while to understand the camera, but for me, I haven't fully understand it yet, because sometimes I don't really get like how it works and stuff. But after 3 months, I come to really like this camera over my M100, even though my M100 is easier to shoot, easier to use, it's more beginner friendly. But for you, if you really want to step up the game, if you really want to get into this industry, be more professional in what you do in your craft and whatsoever. And so this camera is actually really worth it for those who actually want to go pro, or GoPro though, who really want to be serious in this field, who really want to venture more on like stuff you can do with like a high-end camera. So I haven't talked about the price. This costs around 9,000 plus, like after SST or after GST, because the moment when I buy this, it was like days after that, it was when the SST was applied, so it's more expensive. But I think I managed to get like around 8,000 plus, like before SST. And if you guys are curious, I just want to like share it out. So I didn't use my money to buy this. My dad actually sponsored me. My dad actually supported me in buying this camera. I mean for the M100 as well, but I saved up to buy that in a way, but the money is still from him. So for some of the people, they might say that I'm lucky to have a dad that can afford to buy this camera. I'm lucky to have my dad to be on board in whatever I'm doing. But for me, it all depends though. It's like if you have a passion for something, and if someone can support you in whatever forms possible, then you just take it and then just appreciate what the people can offer to you. Because for me, before I get this camera, I'm actually good with the camera that I'm using right now. But it's just that my dad wanted to support me in a way where he can. So like I said, I take it and I appreciate what he has done. And for your case, it might be different. They might not be able to support you for buying this camera. They might be able to support you in buying something else, or like some lower end cameras, but not this one. And like I said before, and like all the YouTubers around the world, they said this before, it all depends on your passion. If you are really passionate in what you are doing, then the gear doesn't really matter. Because I've done a lot of work with my M100, I've done a lot of paid jobs, I've done a lot of like free jobs before with my M100. And then it costs around like less than 2,000. I think the amount of money that I earn from using that camera, I can probably cover up the cost that I used to buy this camera. So imagine me using a camera that costs around 1,600. That is good enough to do like paid jobs, paid gigs. So not to say you need to have a high-end camera to get paid jobs, to get paid gigs. It all depends on your skill. It all depends on how much you want to work for it, and then just see where your passion can take you, man. This is like a sudden change of topic, but yeah, just want to share it out to you guys. So I think that's all I can say about this for now. There's still so much to cover, like the autofocus or the colors, but I think I'm gonna split that into like part 2 of like the Sony A7III review, and most of the stuff are already on YouTube, so you can just look for someone else's review. Like I said in my last review, I want to tell you my experience of using this, what I think about it, because my thoughts and my experience might be different than the others. But most of the reviews out there are more or less the same. They really like this camera. Like, it's almost the ultimate camera that you can get. It's almost the perfect camera for everyone, but it's just not there yet. Okay, I can talk about the flip out screen and then the annoying viewfinder, like auto viewfinder, but you can disable that if you want to. Then like the focus point thingy, I haven't really figured out. There's so much to discover in this thing. There's so much to learn. And then yeah, I can't wait to see what I can come up with this thing. And I can't wait to share to you guys what we're doing with this piece. There's gonna be a short film coming up. I think there's gonna be 2. One is the one that I shot in Miri. It's more or less like a short film travel-y type of video. And then the second one will be a Christmas video, a Christmas short film. I'm planning it out right now at the moment. So both of those I will be shooting it with the A7 III. So hopefully you can see like the capability of what this thing can do. And then from the vlogs before, you probably watch it before, like you can probably see how it looks like. But yeah, I have like some trouble like dealing with the footage, like the colors and stuff. So yeah, overall thoughts. It's not a beginner camera. Like I have some issues using this camera. I mean, it's me. It's not the camera. Okay, the camera is good. And then second one, the camera is good. It's damn good. It's too good for me actually. And then if you want to grab one, and if you're not a Sony user, I suggest you get a kit lens like this. It comes with the body. For the kit lens, it's actually good enough for those who actually don't own a Sony lens. But in the future, if you want to switch lenses, there's like a few different options. I suggest getting third-party lenses instead of like the original lenses from Sony or the Zeiss lenses, because Sony and Zeiss lenses are freaking expensive, man. For like third-party lenses like Sigma, Samyang, or Tamron. Tamron has like a really good 28 to 75 2.8 lens. I'm probably gonna get that like next year. I don't know. But that's on my wish list right now at the moment. They make a lot of cool lenses. You can do your research on YouTube or like on Google. There are like few different options instead of the Sony or Zeiss lenses, but it all still depends on your budget. If you can't afford it, of course go for the original like Sony and Zeiss lenses. If you can't afford it, if you think you can use that money for something else, then probably the third-party lenses is a good option. So I think I'm gonna stop here. I've been like misleading the topic in a way. But well, this is not the official Sony A7 III review. This is like a what I switched to Sony video. So the Sony A7 III review will be up in the next video. I don't know. So this is just a glimpse of what the A7 III can do and what I think about the A7 III and how is my experience using it. So if you like this review, give it a like and share it to your friends if you want to. And then subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell icon right here if you want to be notified for my next video. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Hopefully it's a short film. I can't wait to show you guys the short film. This camera. Okay, I talked too much. See you guys.